Flavia. I'm one of the organizers of Perth Green Drinks. And my partner, Susan Broughton, unfortunately could not be here tonight. She was actually the one who came up with the idea to have our dear mayors talking at Green Drinks, so it's really unfortunate that she cannot be here. She's usually the one who does the introductions, so we miss you, Susan. On behalf of myself and Susan, I would like to thank our sponsors, the Central Institute of Technology, in particularly the marketing people at Central. I would like to acknowledge the presence of Central Governing Council member Colin Campbell-Fraser and Mr. Jamie McAway. Also would like to thank you all for coming tonight to discuss such an important topic. We are just delighted to have as speakers tonight the Lord Mayor of Perth, Lisa Scafidi, and the Lord of Fremantle, Brad Hedgie. He's just the mayor. Thank you so much for taking the time to come, both of you. We know how busy you are, so we really appreciate your presence here today. We are going to be talking about cities tonight. In the recent past, Australian cities have managed to absorb rapidly growing populations, increasing demands on public facilities and infrastructure, changing mobility patterns, and significant technological innovations. While all these elements continue to exist, our cities now have a new, huge challenge to accommodate significant climatic change while maintaining their livability and functionality as urban systems. We hope to hear tonight a bit about how Perth and Fremantle are planning to tackle this challenge. We will have 10-minute presentations by both mayors, followed by time for questions and answers. And afterwards, as always, this is Perth Green Drinks. Grab a drink, have a little bite, and let's network. Professor Lance Toomey, Chair of Central's Governing Council, will do an official welcome and introduce our first speaker, the Lord Mayor of Perth, Lisa Scafidi.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're all honoured guests here today at Central Institute of Technology, our East Perth campus. We're delighted to have you here. Our special guest tonight, of course, our Lord Mayor, Lisa Scafidi, and the Mayor of Fremantle, Brad Pittett. And we are truly honoured to have you both here, and we're looking forward to this unique opportunity, I think, this evening. I'd like to just spend a moment or two giving you a little context about what it is that we're doing here at Central. As I said, this is the East Perth campus. We also have, of course, a major campus in Northbridge, within the centre of the city itself. Central Institute of Technology, in one form or other, has been a most important part of Perth now for about 115 years. Initially as the Perth Technical College, and of course in our current form, or our previous form as Central TAFE, and now as Central Institute of Technology. And on the way we've cast off, if you like, Curtin University of Technology, which is again now cast off the University of Technology bit to become Curtin University itself. So there's a proud history behind the Technical College Institute of Technology label that applies to the central body in Perth. Our aim really is to be an institute both in the city and for the city. By that I mean that we want to demonstrate in a very explicit way that we want to be part of, we are part of, and wish to contribute further to the life of this city. I don't know whether you realise it or not, but there are well in excess of 20,000 students at our Northbridge campus alone. These are students within the centre of the city most days of the week. Both the MRA and the City of Perth have been very supportive in our efforts to create an inner city precinct, an education precinct, based on our Northbridge campus, one that not only enhances life for our students and staff, but also one that the community can be part of, feel that they want to be part of, and enjoy it along the way. We're looking at the student learning precinct along with the cultural knowledge part of the city itself. The aim was incorporated into a master plan recently drawn up by the City of Perth, which details how Central's precinct in Northbridge can become an integral part of the cultural centre. We're delighted to be the ongoing sponsor, or an ongoing sponsor, for these Green Drinks events. Our commitment to sustainability as an institute is perhaps best illustrated by the planned construction of our Green Skills Centre here in East Perth that's set to open in 2014. And it'll open where, just over on the other side over there, where there's a basketball ring. And we begin that in 2014. But in the interim, of course, students are still in the process of acquiring the skills and the knowledge they need to be able to help us build the sort of city that we're looking at. The facility, though, will allow for the delivery of high-level green skills, focusing on skilling the industry sectors central to Australia, creating a low-carbon economy, engineering, building and the environment. Very exciting for us, and we hope exciting for Perth. To tell you more about this now, it's with great pleasure I hand you over to Mayor Lisa Scafidi to talk to you a little more about how the city is beginning to tackle these sustainability problems and situations. Thank you, Lisa.
Well, thank you to Lance, and good evening, everybody. I would also like to acknowledge my good friend, the Mayor of Fremantle. There's always a lot of conjecture about how close we are. We are really close friends. The media love to make a bit out of that, don't they, Brad? But it's nice to see him because he's just been away, and it's good to have a catch-up this evening. And let me also just make a little joke about that Lord Mayor title. I mean, it trips so many people up, whether you're a mayor, a Lord Mayor, and I get all kinds of titles and I answer to all of them, even the bad ones, and I laugh. And I have to say, when I go to America, people do not get Lord Mayor. They go, "Are you a Lord Mayor?" And they go, and then they start calling me Lord Lisa, and it's just too much. It really is. So Lisa's fine, and we all know what I do. And anyway, it's wonderful to see so many people here this evening, and to think that you are so interested in your city. And we have so much to be proud of right now. I mean, our city is going through such an amazing time. I am so proud to be the Lord Mayor of the city. I don't take credit for it all. Please don't think I do. I just think I'm really lucky to be in this role at this time, because there is definitely an alignment of stars right now for Greater Perth, and I include Fremantle in that, because there is just so much positivity. There is a realisation that we just need to all pull together in the right direction, and it's a kind of now or never approach, but I also refer to it as our own belle epoque, and we are just experiencing an incredible time that I think in years to come we will look back on. If we're still alive, we'll look back on it, otherwise future generations will look back on it and say, what an incredible period of time for development that was in Perth's evolution and Perth's recent history. So I really do appreciate the opportunity to be here this evening, and it is really great to focus on a forum that is really looking at being more environmentally minded about Perth and the future of Perth. And let me also disclose up front, I am not an expert in this field, but I certainly endeavour to provide a non-technical leadership perspective, I suppose, and in reference to the City of Perth on this topic. And it's fair to say that I will discuss some of the challenges and the opportunities that arise from the City of Perth's context, and certainly as a capital city, local government, share with you our council's vision for a sustainable City of Perth, and how we are working very hard, let me assure you, very hard to turn our vision into a reality, so to make it a deed rather than just a talking point. And let's see if I can do the slide thing as well. Yep, there we go. So the City of Perth is a capital city, and it's a local government authority with a mere 8.2 square kilometre area. It's a very small capital city by comparison to Melbourne and Sydney, which are about 36 square kilometres and 26 square kilometres comparatively speaking. Being a capital city, Perth is a highly urbanised area with a daily workforce in excess of 110,000 people, and we have a rapidly growing residential population as well, currently around 18,949 to be precise, and expected to increase to over 30,000 by 2029. And when you think that we've come from about 5,000 in the early 90s, that's been very rapid growth. By ABS standards, Australian Bureau of Statistics, we are the fastest growing local government authority by percentage terms in Australia, and certainly major residential and commercial developments taking place over the next 20 years are going to be significant contributing factors to the city's rapid growth. As you know, we've got Riverside down near the Causeway coming online. We've got Perth City Link, which is near the arena and the bus station, rapidly taking shape, and that will be fantastic to see the barrier that occurred between the city and Northbridge removed once and for all. And of course, Elizabeth Quay, also known as the waterfront. And I'm guessing if you're pro-Perth in this room, you are very supportive of Elizabeth Quay and realise the need for more urban infill, density and smarter living. The global movement of people from rural areas to cities and their subsequent densification means that cities are increasing in their significance in terms of their contribution to global warming and climate change. This is a global phenomenon, and as you can see, it says there cities produce up to 75% of the world's total greenhouse emissions, but actually cities globally are representing about 75% of the world's population, and that is increasing as more and more people leave regional locations to become city dwellers themselves. The highly urbanised context of the City of Perth presents another challenge. The Centre for International Economics, as you can read there, has stated that commercial and residential buildings, no, it doesn't read there, sorry, that commercial and residential buildings are responsible for around 23% of Australia's greenhouse gas emissions. This is certainly a major challenge, but we also see it as an opportunity. For example, Perth Central Business District, more than 1.3 million square metres of commercial office space, and that's growing. By improving the NABERS energy rating of that space from say just 2 to 4 stars, CBD emissions could be reduced by almost 76,000 tonnes of CO2 per annum. With such significant growth and development expected over the next 20 years, as I've said, the City of Perth truly understands that this must take place in a very sustainable manner. And we are working very hard on that. We have many staff working in that area. When considering the ways that we can meet this challenge, it is important to have a very clear vision of where we wish to be and by when. So, what is before you now is part of the City of Perth's vision of the type of future that we want for our community. While by its very nature it is aspirational and high level, it needs to be, but it provides the strategic framework and the impetus for informing policy initiatives and practical on-the-ground action. The City's environmental actions are informed by the strategic plan and its guiding principle. These two specific guiding principles assist in ensuring sustainability is considered and is certainly instituted into the decision making by the Council of the City. Certainly when we look to improve environmental performance, there is no better way than leading by example. And I believe very wholeheartedly that the City of Perth is aiming to do that across a number of benchmark areas. The City has been on this journey of improvement for a number of years, and the first step has certainly been to improve energy and water efficiency of Council House, and we've certainly improved in that in a huge way. I'm not sure if that's the end of the slides. The City of Perth was highly lauded for the urban design framework in 2010 that we actually produced. and this has been held up. It actually was front page newspaper. As you well know, you don't get a front page unless you really deserve it in this town, and so this one was really upheld as being something to really work closely with, and it's been certainly taken on board by a lot of key developers and people working in that space as a document through which they now use as basically a blueprint for the work they're doing. Also, we work very strongly with the community in focusing on how we can encourage key corporate tenants to be more efficient in their energy usage. The City Switch is something I'm very proud of. I try and go to all of the City Switch events that the city does. We call them the Cafe Series events, and we sign up corporate signatories who decide that they want to be a part of focusing on energy conservation and smarter use of energy within their offices. And as I alluded to earlier when I spoke about the square metres of commercial tenancy space that it represents, when we get signatories, obviously they can sign up and take on energy saving initiatives by being signatories and really focus on how they can ensure they turn off the lights when they go home at night, turn off the computers, or whatever they can do. Each little bit helps to obviously save as much energy as they can within their offices. City Switch is a national initiative. It's actually operating in each capital city, but I'm proud to say that the City of Perth's targets are well ahead of what we'd forecast them to be in the City Switch business plan. I think just in closing, I would say that we're only as good as the individuals who get behind us with these particular programs. We appreciate your engagement and your interest in these kinds of initiatives, because we know if we are to work smarter and live more sustainably, we need to focus on increasing urban density, and we need to encourage each and every one of you to do your little bit. I was just on Howard Sattler this afternoon, and they were talking about the bicycle plan that we've just released, having had it go through public consultation, and everyone's bemoaning the traffic congestion at the moment, but I still see a lot of people commuting in cars solo. No one carpools. No one makes a conscious decision that, okay, they might have to pick up the kids 2 or 3 days of the week, they might have a doctor's appointment on Thursday, but maybe one of the days they could actually use public transport, or 2 of the days they could ride a bike, or actually share a car with their mate next door who's going in the same direction. And we've got to start having more and more of these conversations to really make the difference that we need to have, because we shouldn't need to contain the population growth that is going to deliver the skilled labour that we need so desperately in this city to fulfil all the jobs that we need to fulfil on the back of the mining and strong growth we have in so many economic sectors right now. So we need to be the change that we want to be, and as it says, our world deserves the benefit of the doubt. So I'll leave my presentation at that. I'm sure I've taken my 10 minutes, and then we'll do more with the chat later on. Thank you very much for listening.